Hi there, my name is Fr.Francis Mckee. I'm a parish priest from Fr.Francis, Quebec, and I'm offering my parishioners a series of reflections on this pandemic that we're experiencing and this social distanciation, making some sense of it. Today's theme is this: help! I need a hug. A smile will do for the time being, but I need a hug. Let me read for you a little bit from Psalm 107, one of the Psalms there. Give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. Some had lost their way in the barren desert. They were hungry and thirsty. They cried to the Lord. The Lord heard them and directed their path. Some were in darkness and gloom, imprisoned in misery. In their distress they cried to the Lord, and he brought them from darkness and shadow into the light. Let them bless his name. Some fell sick from the pandemic, afflicted. They loathed all manner of food. In their distress they cried to the Lord, and he heard their cry. And so, help. I need a hug. My little mother is 90 years old almost, and I call her with regularity through FaceTime. I call her by telephone almost every day, but I can't go see her. She's locked in her little room like so many seniors right now. But let me tell you, phone call and FaceTime is not the same thing as holding her in my arms, squeezing her so tight that every bone in her body cracks. And I could hardly wait for that moment. Just hold her and tell her how much I love her. She needs. Think of so many seniors in my parish who I've been seeing walking around the parish and who say, Father, I just need a handshake, a hug to know that I'm still here. And at church, that's what I do, a little handshake or a hug, and just say, welcome into the Lord's house. I think of the little kids who often come running up the aisle. There's one little girl in particular. She runs up the aisle and she crawls up like a little monkey on me. And she gives me the biggest hug, and I feel like I'm in heaven. I really miss that. And I'm sure you do too. You know, social distanciation, 2 meters apart, is not something new from the last 4 or 5 or 6 weeks. We've actually been living it without realizing it for probably close to 10 to 15 years now. Oh, it's voluntary distanciation. Now it's imposed upon us, so we notice it more. But you know, when I go into the metros, or here in Montreal, we call them metros, you call them subways, I'm not sure what you call them there. But I go to the metros and I see the people, and I like to say, hello, how are you? But nobody hears me anymore because they got things in their ears, little phones, little Bluetooths, you know. I say, how's your day going? And they don't hear me. And I want to see somebody's face and smile at them, and they're all looking at their phone. This is wonderful technology, but already for some many years we have been socially distanced. When I go into the trains, nobody talks anymore. When I go into the planes, when I go into the buses, very few say hello. They're mostly wrapped up in their little world. I'm not sure that that's a great thing. And if that was a voluntary situation in the past, now it has become an imposed thing. Is this the way we want to live as a culture? Is this pandemic saying something to us about the need that we have to be connected to each other? Help! I need a hug. You know, in the scriptures, the Hebrew scriptures, the prophet Ezekiel in chapter 37 says, to the prophet Ezekiel says, breathe over these dry, dead bones that they may find life. And so the prophet breathes on them. Suddenly these dry bones in the desert suddenly come together and become human again, with sinews and muscles and human faces with smiles again. Powerful image of what we're experiencing in many ways. The prophet Jeremiah says, I look around and see our youth dying in the deserts from loneliness. Here in Quebec, I don't know about other countries, but in Quebec, of the 16 to 25-year-olds who die each year, 25% of them die from suicide. Now, there may be many causes for sure, but I'm not so sure that this isolation that we have is so great. You know, we're made in the imago Dei. The book of Genesis says human beings are made in the imago Dei, the image of God. Imago Dei, what's that? I'm the image of God? Well, yes, you are. But more truthfully, what that text actually means is together we are imago Dei. We're the image of God when we look each other in the face and say, you are my friend. Let me hold your hand. Imago Dei is in reflection of the Trinity, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, who are your unity of koinonia, of communion, of friendship. We are made in that image, and alone we will die. A baby who's not held and hugged will die, whether he's fed or not fed. We're made in imago Dei, the image of God. We need each other. We need to high five. We need to hug. We need to give handshakes. There are some who say that this is maybe going to be the new normal. Look at this painting behind me here. It's by one of my favorite painters. She's my niece. Her name is Claire. A beautiful painting of two individuals, a mother and a child, just holding in a beautiful embrace with one another. We need each other. Words are good, but bodies, our body is the expression of my being. My soul is expressed in and through my body. For that reason, I cover my body with clothes, because I want to expose my soul. My body is an expression of my deepest being. And we believe in the resurrection of the body, not just of the soul. The body is not just an eggshell we will get rid of at the end of our days. In Catholic Christian teaching, the body is the sacred temple of God, and it will be resurrected just as Jesus' body was as well. And in heaven, we will hug Jesus in some fashion. And so we're made in the image of God. And so for those who think, well, maybe the social distanciation will be the new normal, well, right now we need to do that for sure. Wash your hands, keep your distance. Don't want to catch the bug. We don't want the bug bouncing around from person to person, for sure. But is that going to be the new normal? Like we've been living social distanciation now for pretty close to 10 to 15 years and creating this kind of isolation. So I see the families today now, because they have no other choice, they're now walking around the parks together. They're laughing together. They're playing games. They're enjoying each other's company. And suddenly saying, isn't this wonderful to be connected? As human beings, we need each other. Roman Catholics, you may not know that if you're not a Roman Catholic, but Roman Catholics have this funny sacred element of their Sunday celebration. The very heart of their Sunday celebration is called Holy Hug. Well, the actual word is Holy Communion. Jesus' body, resurrected body, and he says, take and eat my body. What's that? His resurrected body, not a symbol, his resurrected body coming into my body and giving me a holy hug, his body and mine united forever. Jesus gave us his precious body and blood that we might be connected in our body. And if that is so, then as human beings, we need to high five. We need a handshake. We need to touch each other. Oh yes, for the time being, we need to be distanced to avoid that little coronavirus from jumping around all over the place, for sure. But will this be the new normal? Not over my dead body if I have anything to do with it. When my little mom is freed from her incarceration in her home, and they said, now you can go and visit your mom, boy, every bone in her body is going to crack as I give her a hug. Because we've been given a body by the Lord through which we experience and express our personhood with one another. Expressed through a handshake, through a high five with those who play sports, as expressed through a hug for those who are family members, and most uniquely in husband and wife who express their love for each other in the holy communion of their marital embrace. That's the way human beings were made by God. And the imago Dei is our unity in our affection. We believe in the resurrection of the body. And so this little reflection, guys. Help! I need a hug. A smile will do for the time being. At least give me that. But when we can hold hands again, by golly, that will be part of the way that we express our care for each other. So let us pray for our seniors and our children who right now are experiencing great sadness of not being touched and felt and hugged, because that is not the normal. So courage, guys. We're in this together in this journey. We ask God to be with us. May He bless you and make us understand how great is this Holy Communion into which we are called. Help! I need a hug. That's the expression of God's love for us. The Lord bless you.